All right, what's going on, everybody? Okay, I'm going. Everybody else is going that way. Good morning. It's part two. Still good morning. It's part two, Friday, November 19th. It's not November. I don't know why he keeps saying that. It's December 19th. First building went through well. Basically, to sum it up, it was pretty fast. I got out at like 7:30. Didn't come out to the car until like 7:50 because it was so early. So, bit of a story in there. Pretty much, I was talking with the people in there before I left about stuff I would hear, because I bumped into one of the guys in there, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, what? Quite a big building, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, pretty much. It's a pretty huge building, but thankfully we don't have to do everything, technically." And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, one person, it could definitely be a lot." So I asked him about the first room, if they do classes regularly. He was like, "No, it's pretty much dead in here most of the time. There's barely anybody ever in here." I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." So then I started telling him about the times I would hear things in there, like I heard a woman walking in heels, sinks turning on and off, heard someone talking one time, doors opening and closing, and the couple of other people were so invested. They were like, "Here?" I was like, "Yeah," and they were like so mind blown to hear that, which I don't blame them. I guess the lady is a big fan of Ghostbusters and shit, or not Ghostbusters, ghost hunters and stuff like that. I used to love watching Ghost Hunters, but then I'd be freaked out to walk the hallway and go to bed. That's what you do, and that's what happens when you scare yourself, you know. So I learned to stop fucking watching that shit and stop scaring myself. You know. Yeah, because I used to watch stupid shit like that and scare myself as a kid. Yeah, not very smart. Not very smart, that's for sure. But anyway, so they gave me this gift right here. They gave me a Bed Bath & Beyond drinking cup. It says that I'm awesome on it. And it was very kind of them, you know. I thought it was just a jar at first. I was really confused. I was like, because they didn't just give one to me, they gave one to other people too. I'm like, why am I just getting a jar? But I didn't ask that. I didn't not want to be rude. I was like, "Oh, thank you," you know, just like, "Oh, that's so sweet of you," and all that stuff, right? This fucking window needs to hurry up and thaw out. I don't know why it's still all fogged up. It's getting on my nerves. It's pissing me off, honestly, that this window is not thawing out. I'm gonna have to start getting a squeegee and fucking see, now it's starting to thaw out. A little bit. Sort of. So anyway, yeah, but I got out pretty early. Here I am. So that sums up the first building this morning. And I told him the day after Christmas I'll keep an ear out if I hear anything. And I was telling her about the museum up here, the Army Museum being haunted. I pass by it every day, but the Army Museum up here is haunted. I told her there's word of like phantom soldiers and a cowboy that haunts the place or something. She was so fucking mind blown when I told her that. I was like, yeah, you hear, there's, you know, I told her I felt like I was being watched by the blood of Jesus, man. I know I'm protected, so I'm not really scared of stuff like that, but it's still unnerving, realistically, you know. It's still very unnerving stuff. But yeah, the Lewis Army Museum, I'm passing by it right now. You can't really see it, but I just passed by it. It's a big old white building. It used to be a hotel, I guess. Anyway, so back to the topic from earlier. The video cut out by accident. I unplugged it from my car and it stopped the video. I shouldn't have done that, but oh well. So yeah, yesterday there was a recital at the church for my niece, and it was awesome. My niece did very well. She did better than what I could have on stage. I would have been fucking scared out of my mind where I would start crying and run off stage. I would have been hella scared, you know what I mean? So I was just happy she was just keeping her posture, not freaking out and running off stage crying. You know, she did a lot better than I could. You know, me, I wouldn't have wanted anything to do with it really. But I have been on stage before, so I can't say that. You know, I have been on stage for a couple plays in elementary school. You know, so I can't and some little concerts and stuff like that. But, you know. But anyway, I had a great time. So this is some pretty good news. I have mentioned in the past so many times about getting a digital converter for my videotapes. So I filmed on my Canon camera, which takes the videotapes. And Wade was like, you should send some to me. And I was like, oh yeah, I should, but I want to put them online. But the thing is, I don't have a digital converter. You know, I've been wanting to get one, but it just hasn't been a priority to me. And I've stated that so many times in the past to where I don't even talk about it anymore, because it's one of those things that you just don't want to keep talking about all the time. So pretty much Wade, my pastor, the guy who let me borrow the bass guitar and gave me the amp, was telling me that he would get me and him would look for the one up there, and he would basically give it to me. You know, they've been so generous to me lately, honestly, but I hope to pay that church back one day, you know, because they've been really generous with me, lending me that bass guitar till I can get the Rickenbacker to practice. The amp, the digital converter pretty soon. The camera, they gave me that Canon camera, you know, they gave me that camera. It's just like, you know, they've been very generous with me lately. So I hope one day to pay them back, you know, for all of it. Even though it's all pretty much given to me. But still, you know, they've been a big help with a lot of stuff for me. So yeah, he says he would help me find it, you know, which that's awesome, because I've been wanting to get one for years. I just never really got around to it though, you know. So, but with that being said, this window needs some fog the fuck off, or get the fuck away, you know. Fog, go away. Quit fogging up. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, you know, it was a great time. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna start posting my mini DV videos on YouTube, hopefully, so then I can start filming on that more often, you know, and using the Panasonic, because I need to use that too. I haven't been doing a great job with filming on either of those cameras. But, you know, hey, at least if I get a digital converter, I can use those tapes and reuse them a lot more, get the good stuff out, get rid of the bad stuff, you know, and then just tape over that a few times until those tapes don't really want to do it no more, and then I gotta stop, you know, which can last years. That can last a long time. So, with that being said, it was a good time though. But back to the subject of Jake and I talking on the phone. Yeah, we were talking about like childhood cars, what we wanted when we were kids, dreaming and all that stuff. Because he rides an electric bike. He doesn't have a car. So we would talk about, you know, he wanted this car as a kid. He wanted an Audi R8 as a kid, which I did too. I wanted an Audi R8 as a kid. He wanted a Subaru WRX 2005, which I said that on video in the first part. I wanted a Jaguar F-Type. I wanted a few cars. I wanted a BMW 328i. I wanted a Jaguar F-Type. I wanted an Audi R8. I wanted a BMW M2. I wanted a BMW i8. There were a shit ton of cars that I really, really wanted growing up. Yeah, I have enough gas to get through the rest of the day, and then I need to get gas when I'm done here after work. Like ASAP. So anyway, but yeah, we would talk about childhood cars, and then, you know, I told him about the cars that I had. I had a 99 Honda Civic. I had a BMW 2003 325xi. That was probably the coolest pre-owned car I had out of all the cars I've had. But the new cars, those are the top of the line coolest cars I've had. And then I had a Chevy Impala, which was a piece of shit. Didn't even work. My dad had the working one. I had the crappy one that didn't work and had mold growing on it. Had like green shit growing on it. But we ended up abandoning those cars. The Honda Civic we traded for the BMW, and I had the BMW for a minute, but then my dad couldn't keep up on the payments, and we ended up getting it repoed. But anyway, that's a story for another time. So, yeah. We had a lot of those cars, but kids dream, kids dream. So, but yeah. I also wanted a Nissan GTR. In high school, I wanted a Nissan GTR. And then when I was got older, it was a Camaro, a Challenger. But then I, wanted a bike, and then ended up getting the Challenger, swapped that, ended up getting a Mustang of all cars, and that's where I am now. Never, ever in my life did I ever think I was going to get a Mustang. But yeah, so to sum it up, I got, I'm good with my car. I hope to get a new, something a little bigger. I'm done with muscle cars and shit like that after these ones. But yeah, I hope probably get a truck or something like that, like a Ram or something like that. I don't need any more muscle cars after this one. After I pay this one off, that's it. This is like gonna be my summer car or something. Or my after work car. But anyway, yeah, we were talking about like custom shop guitars and stuff like that, and the stupidity of logic of why a regular greeny looking guitar with no scars is $3,000, but then with scars that you can add on yourself, but they do it for you to look exactly like the Kirk Hammett's greeny guitar, is $20,000. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. So, shit like that. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. wanted to start over because this morning I was, I couldn't do a part 2 because the video kept cutting out. And then, so ended up turning into 4 parts, because I want to cram all this stuff in one video, not three separate parts, 2, 3, and 4, so I was trying to, somehow squeeze them all together. But yesterday was pretty easy with work. Subway, had some Subway at the end, got to hang out, talked with Jake again about childhood cars, guitar, and custom shop guitars, which again I want to make I'll probably make a part 3 on that. And then cars that we wanted as kids, and cars that I did have as a kid, and even though they technically were my dad's, it was mainly just the Challenger and the Mustang that I'm the primary owner of. Well, Challenger was, this car am, but yeah, so. But yeah, I'll make a part 3 specifically about Guitar Talk, though, more on the custom shop topic, because it was only very minor on part 1, but yeah. But anyway, fun little part.